It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the South region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors South.
Hi everybody, welcome to the show, and in the interest of pioneering new horizons, I'd like to welcome you to a place I've never been before. We are really out in some remote territory today. We are south of Houston. We are a little bit west of Texas City and Lamarck, Texas, north of Galveston, a little place called Hall's Bayou. Hall's Bayou is actually just a long, kind of a snaky creek river looking thing that eventually dumps into Chocolate Bay and into West Bay, a little bit west of Galveston Bay. We're going to launch the boat into Hall's Bayou right here behind us, and there's even a sign right over here that says no swimming, alligators. Yes, we've got alligators in here, but we've also got redfish, we've got speckled trout, we've even got a few largemouth bass. Yes, this is brackish water. It's one of those places where when you make a cast, you never know what's going to strike. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to be joined in the Mako 21 LTS by Captain Greg Verm. Now, you may remember him from last year. We went on a night flounder gigging trip, caught some really nice flounder, or gigged some. Actually show you just a couple of quick shots of that, but we had a great time. This is a totally different deal today. We're gonna have a lot of fun out on the bayou today. And while we're out doing that, we're taking you around your local region for your fishing reports from your favorite lakes, rivers, and bays from your neck of the woods. Our expert team of insider reporters has all the latest fishing action for you. So while I get the Mako launched into the bayou, we take you back to the FSN studios. Here's your weekend planner.
The Salooner tables are forecasting the best daylight hours for game fish activity this weekend to take place in the morning hours. Expect peak times to start at 7:27 on Saturday and 8:15 on Sunday. Look for the sun to rise at 7:23 and set at 7:08. And we are approaching a full moon next week, so evenings will feature a moon that is 81% visible. Stay with us. We'll be right back with freshwater and coastal fishing updates from around the region. Plus, I'll return with fishing legend Kevin Van Dam to answer one of your questions on this week's Ask the Pro.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. By Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Welcome to the big leagues.
Hey, you got one, Greg?
Got one.
All right. Let me come over you there, and I'll get the net. As soon as I'll just throw that down and get the net. Redfish?
Redfish.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Pretty red.
There he comes. There, we got him. All right, there's your red. Welcome back, everybody. Fox Sports Outdoors. We're between Galveston and Houston, a little bit east of Lamarck, in a little town called Santa Fe today, fishing with Captain Greg Verm for redfish, and throwing spinner baits and topwaters, just like we're bass fishing today, fishing the upper end of what's called Chocolate Bay. Not a monster by any means, but hold him up there and let her get a quick shot of him. This is what we're fishing for, just fish that have actually been spawned back here, hatched, and live back here in the bay system. Greg, when's a good time of the year if people want to come down here and do this? What's
Fall
prime?
months is the best time.
Really?
October, November, December is the best time for these fish. This fish right here is probably about 18 and a half, 19 inches. Look, something got a hold of his tail. By December, he'll be a good keeper fish.
They grow that fast?
That fast.
How quick do these fish grow?
Within 2 years, they'll be a keeper fish, being 20 inches or bigger.
From the time they're spawned, they'll grow 20 inches in 2 years.
2 years.
And this fish will eventually grow to how big?
30 pounds, 40 pounds.
Okay, back he goes.
Let it go.
We're releasing redfish today, although that'd be a good keeper.
Oh, yeah.
If we were keeping them.
Good fish.
All right, let's give you Greg's telephone number and his web address if you'd like to book a trip. We'll throw it up here for you, and we'll also put it up again right at the end of the show. If you don't have anything to write with right now, we'll put it back up again. And Greg's information is up on our website as well on the members only page if you'd like to book a trip with him. Okay, let's get you some fishing and lake reports. Let's take you right now to the Carolinas with Captain English Glover.
Hey folks, Captain E here with your Carolinas report. This week brought to you by Marshall's Marine, located in Lake City and Georgetown, South Carolina. We're your bass boat leader since 1969. For all your family-friendly fun, visit www.marshallsmarine.com. Real quick, I want to tell you about an event coming up at Marshall's Marine on Thursday, October 9th at 7 p.m. Our annual Low Country Sportsman Supper, where our good friend Jimmy Houston will be joining us. Come out and join thousands of your fishing and outdoor enthusiasts for a wonderful free dinner. That's on October 9th. Also, October 1st opens our South Carolina shellfish season. Inlets just like here in Murrells Inlet, everyone's going to be out getting their take of the local oysters, which are incredible here in the Carolinas. Now, talking about the saltwater side of things, the inshore bite continues to increase. I was out last week, enjoyed a great topwater bite early in the morning in Georgetown on some speckled trout. Also hearing of some large red drums still coming along all those jetties and those shipping channels and river channels in Georgetown, Charleston, and also in Little River. Get out and enjoy some of the best fishing of the fall. The king mackerel and Spanish mackerel continue to be along the beach as the mullet run continues. And also we're still hearing of some silver kings, the tarpon, being caught in Georgetown and down south in Charleston and Beaufort. In the freshwater side of things, look for things to start increasing as the fish start moving into that fall pattern, and get ready for some of the best bass bites as you get out and fish on those outcroppings and those deep drops sitting out of those shallow ledges where you targeted back in the spring. This has been your Carolinas Report, brought to you by Marshall's Marine. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Hey, we promised you alligator at the beginning of the show. There's one right here. We just drifted up on one, and Greg's got him following a topwater lure. Look right here. There's one right up by the reeds. Not a big one, but a red. Come here, buddy. All right, another one on my spinnerbait. Welcome back, everybody. We are doing a little red fishing today. There you go. Pretty fish right there, a lot of action. And we're fishing just off Chocolate Bay. And look right here, see behind me? Just on the outside of all these reeds are where the fish seem to be holding today. Let me explain to you a little bit about the locations that we're catching these fish. All through this marsh are just tons of little channels. There is one main channel that goes down it, and then several little drains and cuts that feed in. The main channel is about 7-8 feet deep is all it is. Then up off that channel, there are these little bays, little coves, what they call mud flats. It comes up to about 2 to 3 feet deep. Those are the places that these redfish get up in there, and they forage around for all kinds of crustaceans. They feed on little mullet, little shrimp, all kinds of little bait that get up in these flats. So what you want to do is you want to look for the presence of bait fish. In fact, I'll roll in a little shot here of what you're looking for. But these are actually just little mullet, little shrimp, and all kinds of little bait fish flipping around right on the surface. If you can find these little mud flats off the channel that have that presence of bait in them, those are the places that the redfish like to forage, and that's a place you're likely to catch one. All right, let's get you some more fishing and lake reports. Let's go to Tennessee and Kentucky. Here is Crispin Powley with a report from there this week.
When considering a destination for your next family getaway or outdoor adventure, I would urge you to consider beautiful Benton County, Tennessee. Nestled along the banks of Kentucky Lake in West Tennessee, historic Benton County offers all the amenities that an outdoor enthusiast could ask for, served up with a heaping portion of southern charm. Visit this sportsman's paradise and experience why so many of us are proud to call it home.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Tennessee and Kentucky Fishing Report. You know, the last couple of weeks have been really good, but this past week, quite honestly, has been a little bit slower. The weather's been a little bit warmer, kind of putting the fish back more in that summer deal. They kind of this time of year getting some kind of flux in between summer and fall, and they get kind of hard to catch. With that being said, Pickwick, Chickamauga, and the New Johnsonville area of Kentucky Lake are still probably your best bets. The thing right now is grass and bait. If you find those two together, a topwater bait will be your best tool to make your fishing most successful. Early and late, of course, cooler weather being around the corner will make that bite last all day long, but right now it's still spotty. We're just waiting on a major weather system to come and say fall is here. Unlike earlier in the year, cooler weather this time of year really helps. In the spring, a cold front may mess the fishing up for a couple days, but right now it really just tells them, hey, fall's around the corner and you need to start eating and get prepared for the water to cool off. Now, I did hear one really good report on Dale Hollow. A buddy of mine caught some really good fish on a topwater bait on a secondary point, kind of adjacent to a flat where the bait was really starting to push in the backs of the creeks. And that's gonna just amplify in the next couple of weeks. But right now, guys, just go early and go late. Throw a topwater bait anywhere that you can find grass and bait, especially if it's where a flat starts or a creek turns or something like that. Fall is around the corner and it's gonna bust wide open any day. Look, we'd love to see you on the water in Tennessee and Kentucky. God bless.
Hey, there's one more little bitty one, little rat red for you right there. All right, well, got fish working anyway. Got a little outgoing tide started. So much of what happens here depends on the tide. And we finally got a little tide working here in the middle part of the day. Little spinner bait, top water, back that little rat red goes. We take a quick commercial break. We'll be back for a lot more in just a moment. Hey, don't forget, join us on our Twitter feed. The Twitter address you see there, all the latest photos, video, fishing news. If any big fish get caught, you'll be the first to see it on our Twitter feed anywhere in our region. We'll be right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Mercury Marine, celebrating 75 years of marine excellence. By Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability. And by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker.
Out here next to these reeds, I still haven't made a lot of progress with him. Welcome back, everybody. Fox Sports Outdoors today. Big red. There, we got him. All right, look at this, sports fans. We're out here just off of Chocolate Bay, fishing the channels here with Greg Verm. Better bait in there and get the fish out. There we go. All right. There's what we came to do right there. There is a nice redfish there. Greg, let's talk about the different ways you can catch these fish. I know you bring guide trips out here all the time.
All the time.
How are the different techniques?
Different techniques. One technique we use a lot is live shrimp under a popping cork.
Okay.
A lot of kids enjoy doing that. You know, it's easy and fun for the kids to see a popping cork going under, and redfish love live shrimp, and that's one of the most popular ways of taking them. Another way to harvest them is to top waters, spinner baits, just kind of match the hatch with what there's a lot of shad in here right now, finger mullet, and that's what we're doing.
All right, well, we have got a nice redfish for you right there. That's just an average size for this base system. The big bulls are the ones that these grow up to be, and they go out on the jetties and head on out to the Gulf, right?
Absolutely. We catch those at the jetties and the passes.
But these are the ones that are a lot of fun. You fish for them like you're bass fishing. You just pitch up against these salt grass edges and these little points. You're looking for anything irregular to throw at. Any little ditch that goes back in, a little point that comes out, a little piece of wood. It's really just like bass fishing. You're looking for anything different than everything else around it, and that's where these fish go. Let's put this fish back right here. Let's check on all the saltwater reports down on the Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia coastline. Here's Bob McNally, followed by Jimmy Jacobs with your freshwater report.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the state of Mississippi, where fishing fun is year-round and where the Mississippi Gulf Coast offers some of the best inshore angling and offshore adventures anywhere in the world. So start your next fishing adventure in the true South, Mississippi. Well, fall fishing is really turned on throughout the coastal South, and a wide variety of fish are being caught on a lot of fronts. In Alabama, it's caught by Captain Rick Murdoch, who fishes Mobile Bay around Dauphin Island, where he's catching lots of 2 to 3 pound sea trout, but he needs slow running tides and clear water. When those conditions don't set up and there's not clear water or the right tides, Rick runs over to the eastern side of the bay near Fort Morgan, where he's catching slot redfish, also using live shrimp with popping corks. Triple tail also around. Rick had a friend that fished the other day. He checked 10 different channel markers in Mobile Bay and caught 4 triple tail. The largest was 20 pounds. Those are big triple tail, and now's really a good time to check them out. In Mississippi, the cobia fishing has been off the chart. These are 20 to 40 pound fish. They're holding around anchored shrimp boats. In the daytime, anglers are catching them with live baits and jigs. One boat recently had 14 cobia that size. That is a banner day of cobia fishing. They're also catching some big jacks around these anchored up shrimp boats. Farther offshore, the tuna fishing has been off the chart. These tuna use their yellowfins. They're going to 60 to 150 pounds. Anglers are chunking around, again, anchoring shrimp boats, but much deeper water, 200 to 300 feet. This is during the day. The shrimp boats only trawl at night, so they're anchored up in the daytime, and those fish hang right with them. Over in Georgia, I was talking to Captain Judy Helmsley out of Savannah, and she reports lots of shrimp are in the lower bay areas, and the cast netting for shrimp, recreational cast netting, has been great. Those cast netters are catching that shrimp for personal use, for consumption, and also for live bait. The fishing has been great for mixed bag catches around Walsall Island and in Ossabaw Sound. Well, that's it for the Coastal South. Remember, get out on the water and take a youngster fishing with you.
This week's Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Report is brought to you by JimmyJacobsOutdoors.com, your source for Southern sporting adventure information. Visit our online bookstore for guidebooks on trout fishing, saltwater fishing, and hiking in the region. Well, October's finally arrived, and with it it's brought the fall fishing patterns. Water temperatures are cooling down and a variety of game fish are active. In Georgia this week, head over to Lake Oconee in the east central part of the state. This 19,000 acre reservoir has a huge population of largemouth bass that are biting right now. There's also an 11 to 14 inch slot limit on these fish, but fisheries managers encourage you to take home some of the smaller ones for dinner. This will help balance out the population on the lake. Spinner baits or shallow crankbaits are good lures to be throwing. You want to fish these close to the riprap under the old Phoenix Road Bridge, which is on the Lick Creek arm of the lake. But still, most of the action is going to be in shallow backs of coves and creek arms throughout the reservoir. Fall's also a time for some crappie fishing. In Mississippi, Ross Barnett Reservoir on the Pearl River near Jackson is red hot for slab action. The upper end is the place to be fishing. You want to hit the old river ledges in 12 to 14 feet of water. You can troll jigs tipped with minnows is the best tactic for catching these fish. But don't overlook those submerged dams of old ponds that are in the upper end. The drop-offs along those also hold crappie. Alabama's Bear Creek Reservoir is another spot for crappie right now. The 670 acre TVA lake is in the northwest corner of the state. It's full of standing timber, and that's where the fish are. Fish with jigs or live minnows, but once you find those crappie, then you can drop the live bait vertically down to them and catch a bunch.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses. See what's out there. By Luz, setting a new standard in fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing. By Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for one of your questions to be answered by a fishing professional on the Ask the Pro feature. This week's question comes from Henry, who asks, do you use a leader on your braided line? For the answer, we checked with Bassmaster's all-time money winner, Kevin Van Dam.
You know, most of the time when I'm using braid, I don't use any leader at all. You know, I want to get all the advantages of that super low stretch and that thin diameter of that particular braid. In certain situations, I will use a fluorocarbon leader, and that's just like in really clear water, and that's when I'm using a spinning rod and small braid to begin with. So if I'm using 10-pound braid on a spinning rod, I can put a fluorocarbon leader on there. I can still fish in real clear water. The advantage of that braid is it throws a mile. You can cast probably a third farther than you could with just straight fluorocarbon. And then you have that leader, so you got the invisibility of that on the end. It's a really good technique. Other than that, I like straight braid.
Thanks, Kevin. If you have something to ask one of the pros, simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now someone is going to win a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Each week on our show, someone wins a free pair of Costa sunglasses in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. And this week's winner is Robert Denson of Alma, Georgia, showing off an 11-pound largemouth bass he caught out of Lake Okeechobee in Florida. If you would like to be our next winner, go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, follow the instructions to send us your big fish picture, and you could win our next free pair of Costa sunglasses. And You can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles at their website, and you get there easily by going back to the front page of our website and clicking on the Costa logo. Everything is there in one place, and you can see the lenses and the frames that I was wearing on this week's episode. The frames are called Double Haul, and they're in that really cool camo pattern. Next up on the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff feature, it's the right gear if you'd like to catch redfish either here at Hall's Bayou or Chocolate Bay or any of the other coastal destinations along the Gulf Coast or the Atlantic Coast in our region. It begins with a great fishing reel. This is the Lew's Speed Spool Inshore Saltwater Baitcast Reel Series. It's beefy for horsing in big redfish, and it's got a lot of corrosion resistant gears and parts on the inside that will keep you fishing for many years to come. And the baits that you'll need we use today. First of all, on the left side of your frame, that's a spinner bait. You can see the big single Colorado blade. That's a Strike King Redfish Magic spinner bait. And on the right side of your frame is a topwater bait. Any kind of a floating cigar-shaped topwater that uses a dog walking side-to-side action will work just fine for these redfish. There is an interesting question that I've begun to ask myself on almost a daily basis. The question goes something like this: what did you do today that will matter 100 years from now? You know, so much of our days get filled up with earning a living and checking things off our to-do list. What I've discovered is many of those things are really low priority items that don't matter a whole lot. So I've begun to try to prioritize my day to do something every day that will still matter 100 years from now. It can be a challenge, but it can be a lot of fun too, and I can promise you that at the end of that day, it will make your life much more rewarding and fulfilling. I hope you enjoyed our trip here today to Hall's Bayou and Chocolate Bay. And if you'd like to come fishing here, let me tell you that there is a public boat ramp right at the Highway 2004 bridge that crosses over Hall's Bayou. You can launch right there and work your way downstream to Chocolate Bay. And if you'd like to book a guide trip in this entire bay system, I would highly advise that. You can book that guide trip with Captain Greg Verm, who joined us on the boat today. He grew up in this area, knows the whole marsh like the back of his hand. You can contact him at the information you see right there on your screen. Hey, don't forget to join us for next week's episode. We'll be on Thursday at 6 p.m. with the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. And you can always catch the latest episode of our show right on our front webpage at www.foxsportsoutdoors.com. And you can see lots more fishing news and information on our Twitter feed. And be sure to follow us, because you'll be the first to get the latest fishing news if you do. You can also follow us on our Facebook page. Be sure and click the like button, again, to get the very latest. We'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.